Welcome to Know It YouTube channel. Facing an emboldened Taliban, and with less U.S. military support, Afghan forces have suffered heavy casualties during a 2-month surge in violence across the country that is threatening to jeopardize a fragile peace deal between the United States and the Taliban. A U.S. military assessment describes Taliban attacks on Afghan forces in March as above seasonal norms, according to a quarterly report released Thursday by the Office of the Special Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction (SIGAR). According to the Afghan National Security Council, the Taliban has carried out an average of 55 attacks a day since March 1, a spike that has doubled casualties among Afghan security forces in some parts of the country, officials say. The numbers show Taliban doing nothing for peace and everything to continue their campaign of terror against Afghans, the council's spokesman, Javed Faisal, said on Twitter. The top U.S. commander in Afghanistan, General Austin Scott Miller, on Tuesday called on the Taliban to reduce attacks and give our political leadership on all sides an opportunity to determine the peaceful way forward, according to a transcript of his remarks released by a U.S. military spokesman. If the Taliban continue to attack, then what they should expect as a response, Miller said. The increase in violence comes as U.S. officials struggle to keep the Taliban peace deal on track. The February agreement ended offensive operations between U.S. forces and the militant group and set a deadline of March 10 for the beginning of talks between the Taliban and the Afghan government. Those talks have yet to begin, and some fear the violence could be sapping what little momentum followed the signing of the deal. 2 Afghan security officials and a senior government official said Taliban fighters used a week of reduced violence in the lead-up to the peace deal to regroup. Now, with fewer U.S. airstrikes applying pressure to Taliban forces on the battlefield, Taliban fighters are launching more deadly attacks on Afghan government positions, the officials said. All 3 spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to speak to the media. The U.S. military command in Kabul refused to release more specific data on Taliban attacks, citing concerns surrounding sensitive negotiations with the Taliban. This marks the first time the U.S. military command in Kabul has restricted the release of such data since SIGAR began using it in 2018 to track the levels and locations of violence. The world hopes that tensions between both the parties ease as soon as possible and restore the long-awaited peace in the region. Thanks for watching the video. Kindly like and subscribe and keep yourself tuned in.